Maybe J.K. Dobbins might soon run L.A.
Well, maybe he'll outrun their injury curse first and the Chargers' playoff hopes. Ha ha ha.
Welcome back to Stats Pro Fantasy Football, folks. I'm Scott, and today we've got an exciting breakdown on one of the hottest names in fantasy football right now, J.K. Dobbins, after a huge Week 1 performance. And joining me, as always, is our fantasy football expert, Maverick Miles. Maverick, what a week for Dobbins, eh?
Absolutely, Scott. Dobbins put on a show in Week 1 for the Chargers against the Raiders. We're talking about 135 rushing yards on just 10 carries, including a touchdown, and a couple of huge runs of 46 and 61 yards. His burst and explosiveness, next level.
It sure is. Now, after all the hype coming into this season with Dobbins' reunion with Greg Roman, a lot of fantasy managers were hesitant to draft him high because of that Achilles injury from last year. Were they right to be cautious, or is Dobbins back in full force?
Well, Scott, here's the thing. The injury history is real. Dobbins missed almost all of last year, and people remember that. But here's the kicker. When he's healthy, he's elite. We saw flashes of that in Week 1. Pro Football Focus graded him as one of the top running backs for the week. He led all backs in rushing yards over expected with plus 98, according to Next Gen Stats. That tells me this wasn't just a fluke. He's seeing the field well, and he's got his explosiveness back.
Yeah, that explosiveness really jumped off the screen. Let's talk about how he fits into this Chargers offense under new head coach Jim Harbaugh. Is this the perfect system for him?
Couldn't agree more, Scott. Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Greg Roman run a ground and pound style that fits Dobbins to a T. This offense ran 27 times in Week 1, and they'll keep leaning on the run. Dobbins got a 59% snap share and handled most of the meaningful touches. Gus Edwards is still there, but Dobbins is the guy. If this offensive line keeps blocking the way it did, he could easily be a top 15 back moving forward.
That's some juicy stuff, and fantasy managers are definitely excited. But here's the question everyone is asking. Can Dobbins stay healthy and sustain this production throughout the season?
That's the million-dollar question, Scott. If you're a fantasy manager, you have to know there's some risk here. He's coming off back-to-back injury-plagued seasons, and you've got to be realistic about that. However, the Chargers are going to manage his workload smartly.
All right, let's shift gears to his fantasy value, Mav. Dobbins' ADP was low, falling around the 48th ranked running back in most drafts. That's changed quickly, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Dobbins was a steal for anyone who drafted him late. His stock is skyrocketing after Week 1. He's sitting at 48% rostered in Yahoo leagues, which is going to shoot up after this performance. If he's on your waiver wire, you've got to prioritize him immediately. But even if you drafted him, he's now moved into must-start territory as a solid running back 2 with upside for more.
So you're saying Dobbins is a start for Week 2? What should fantasy managers expect in terms of workload and production?
100% Scott, you have to start him. Look, Harbaugh is going to keep feeding him the ball. He's facing a tough Ravens defense next week, but the volume should be there. He'll probably see around 15 to 18 touches, and with his big play ability, all it takes is 1 or 2 of those to break the game wide open. I'd project him for about 80 to 90 total yards with a solid chance to score.
Speaking of which, how does Dobbins compare to other hot waiver wire pickups right now? We've got guys like Jordan Mason, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Bucky Irving showing up on a lot of waiver lists.
Yeah, there's some serious competition on the waiver wire, but Dobbins is the crown jewel this week. Jordan Mason is in a great spot with the 49ers while McCaffrey is out, but Dobbins has the best chance to be a long-term solution. His offense is committed to the run, and he's already proving his worth. Guys like Mason are more stopgaps, while Dobbins has league-winning potential if he stays healthy.
Great stuff. And so, Mav, before we wrap up, what's your final advice to fantasy managers who are debating whether to start or sit Dobbins moving forward?
Look, Scott, if you have J.K. Dobbins on your roster, you start him. It's that simple. You don't bench a guy with his kind of upside after a performance like Week 1. If he's on your waiver wire, go all in. There's always injury risk with him, but that's a risk worth taking for a guy who could be a top 15 running back by season's end.
All right, and there you have it, folks. Thanks, Mav, for breaking it down as always. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Stats Pro Fantasy Football. We'll see you next time.